Then we'll lengthen them even further. So we'll inhale 5, hold 5, exhale 5. In 6, hold 6, out 6. So it's the same ratio, but it keeps expanding. So now working a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. Just these little shifts in our breathing. Just part of the intent is to note and to feel how this interior is influenced by breath. How our breath is influenced by our interior. As that breath gets longer and longer, use those low belly muscles. Employ them. So you get thoroughly exhaled. As you're completing that, we'll move into shoelace right over left. Reach the left hand out beside you. Inhaling, draw, or lift rather, the chest bones up, so feeling the breath under the chest wall, under the interior of the rib cage. And as you're exhaling, allow the head to drift to the right as you reach your left hand to the left. And when you feel your breath, do you feel your breath from the inside of your body? Do you feel your breath from the external side of your skin? Where does sensing occur for you? There's a location. And how we sense from the inside, from the outside, right? This is formative in our self-sense. This is part of how we developed the sense of who I am. Now, keeping this left hand off of the ground so it's just in contact with the air molecules around. It's bringing your feeling awareness to bear in and through the hand. And again, I'll just ask that question one more time. Keep that left hand out so it's not touching anything else but the air molecules. Are you sensing from the inside of your hand or from the outside? Do you sense all around the hand, or do you sense in discrete, kind of pinpoint reflections? Is there sensing between the fingers? And now we'll fold forward. Just allow the head to drift centrally and hands beside you as we're walking forward. Press gently out through the heels, keeping the feet flexed, keeping them active. And again, you might just try closing eyes for a few of these positions that we're in. As we do, we have this vision. We have interior vision. Whether we formed external vision, eyeball, external vision or not, we have interior vision. We're just allowing that to get a little watering. I promise that interior vision is not on the clothing, it's not on your toenail, it's not on the mat. It is interior. Inhale, walk the hands back. Switch the cross of legs. Okay. There's been so many like books about finding your strength, developing your strength, relying on your strengths, leading with your strengths. Actually asking us to go elsewhere. A lot of us are very strong with our visual sense, our external vision. Looking at our hand, our toes, our room, our whatever, our possessions. And I might be asking us to rely on just a more diaphanous way of seeing. But let's build that. It's an incredibly important skill in our intuition, in our body sense, our self sense. So we'll extend the right hand out. Inhale. Just finding out if you can feel breath inside the right shoulder, around the right shoulder. Maybe you feel it outside the right shoulder. Just note where you sense your breath. Exhaling, tipping the head left. And again, where does sensing occur for you? Is it inside, close to the skin? Is it deeply, centrally located? And with a couple extra breaths, just dedicating these next moments to that right hand. You're welcome to close eyes. Start just leaning into that interior vision, the way we feel, see, the way we map, the way we sense the right hand. Notice where sensing is, how lush, how potent that sense impression comes in, or maybe it's a little Swiss cheesy. Maybe it's thin sensing. Maybe it's sensing but with some gaps or interruptions. Okay. Now to the forward fold, allow the chin to just drift centrally. Bring the hands beside the legs on their way to walking forward. Be very gentle with the exhale. When we're using this interior way of feeling our person, our body, relax the brow. Relax the eye muscles, the forehead muscles, the temple, the sinus area. Relax the lips. Feel the bottom jaw just almost drifting down away from the top part of jaw. Inhale, walk the hands back. The trunk upright. Let's unwind. And we'll lie on back. Give these legs a little unwind. Here we go. With the feet off the ground, inhale the head and the shoulders off floor. Just letting that breath be in that low back. You can feel that low back. Remaining close to the ground. Exhale the left leg outreach. And engage those leg muscles. Start to contract because they were kind of bent up there. Contract, reach out through the legs. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. Exhale, right leg outreach. Just apply contraction. Just let that contraction work all around the knee as you reach out, straightening that leg. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend that right knee. Let's do 5 more per side. So please continue your pace. This is usually one of those places in the practice where we look up at our foot and generally we're looking out. So you may hear, because we're super steady, we're not going to fall over. There's no balance requirements really here. You can close your eyes and just find out if you can feel interiorly the belly, the low back, the sacrum, the hip sockets, the genitals, the colon, the intestines. The cartilage, the fibers, the spine. Let's keep elevating those shoulders just a little bit. There you go. That'll help you. It'll help us feel the kind of the envelope of our physical body. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Sometimes it's really nice to have a continuous and a robust sense of a container, a body as a contained an entity. So all these superficial muscular engagements, the feeling of the back on the ground, the muscles around the abdomen engaging can help form or reform that sense of, oh, this is a contained, I'm an entity. A one-of-a-kind event. And then grab your roll. Place it between your legs. And just from a structural point of view, the inner legs have connection to the thigh bone, the inside of the thigh bone, up through the sacrum and the low back. It rings and sings all throughout that pelvic and abdominal connective tissue. Bring the legs up. Now, just because structurally it's connected in those ways doesn't mean that we will immediately sense that structural connection. But if we've got the hardware there, there's no reason we can't just apply a little software to sense into those connections. Go ahead and reach the legs up. Yep, it's part of the feeling. Ooh, I can feel things. Interlace the hands behind the head. Inhale into low belly, low back. And feel how the breath reaches there. Feel how the abdomen receives the breath. Squeeze the roll. Hold that squeeze. Hang on. Still holding that squeeze. Reach up through those inner legs. Exhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Apply additional squeeze. So you're just ramping up that feeling just a bit. Reach up through the legs like you're lengthening those fibers. Pull low belly down. Inhale, set the head down, slightly easing off the squeeze. Oh, keep those legs up. Squeeze the thing. Exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Apply additional squeeze. Keep squeezing. Reach up to the inner legs, the inner knees. Yep, pull low belly down. Way down. Inhale, set the head down. Hold. Squeeze. And remember, we're squeezing to feel, not just to perform an action. Exhale the head and the shoulder blades up. And apply additional squeeze. And just find out if that brings you interiorly, deeper, internally. Pull low belly down. Inhale, set the head down. Continue your own pace. Just continue. You don't even have to count. When the muscles start to work, or maybe they start to fatigue, who knows what's going on in there, but when they start to change their tone, their work, is that something that you would be willing to follow or track? Can you get a sense of how that quiver, that heat, or that energy starts to move through the legs? Keep going. Finish the one that you're on, and we'll do one more. Or, pardon me, 3 more, I meant. All right, you can do 1 more. I said the wrong word. That's fine. You know I meant 3. Track all the way up through here. Squeeze. Go ahead, squeeze. There you go. There you go. Now let go of the teeth. There you go. Yeah. I know. This is why we do it, though. Come on. Deep breath. There you go. Squeeze. Now, good. You're going to imply squeeze and let that jaw open. Teeth be really good. Squeeze. Reach. Squeeze. Go ahead. Go ahead and squeeze.
Squeeze.
I know. There. Yeah. All right. So when we set the feet down, we'll move the roll. And let's set up for Dolphin. So there are elbows under our shoulders, knees under hips. Push the earth with your forearms. So as you're inhaling, you can get a read on the back of the heart, the sides of the heart. And exhale, the knees off the ground. Allow the back of the neck musculature to soften. We're working the chest and the shoulder such that as the chest and the armpit area muscles, the serratus, become involved, there's engagement and support. Chest side, so we're supported from the ground side of our torso here, which allows us to move, like reposition the rib cage away from the ground and up right between the shoulder blades. So find out if you can create that, how you flex those chest muscles. You can coax them to turn on by squeezing the elbows toward one another. It's not squishing the shoulder, the front of the shoulder, but it's getting the chest muscle to turn on. So it's right in here. Tweeze elbow toward elbow. There. Oh, now hold that. Yep. And with that chest muscle on, chest muscles, like right up under the collar. So right there and there. Good. There. Now turn them back on again. Turn them back on. Good. Push. Good. Turn them on. Push. Push the earth. Push. There you go. Keep them on. It takes a little bit, like when you find, oh my gosh, my chest muscles turn on. It takes a little bit to keep them on. Stay with them, because that has some really cool effect through there you go, the shoulder blade. That's it. Good. Deep breath into the sides of the lungs. There you go. Good. Push with those chest muscles. Keep them on. There you go. So you're pushing with the chest muscles staying on. I'm not. Turn the chest muscles on. I push with the chest muscles on. The push comes from the chest muscles. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's it. That's it. Start to sense how breath moves and feels in and through these shoulders, which may be working differently. Letting that breath pass through and contact those chest muscles, the chest wall. This is heart territory. And the chest muscles are just some of the more superficial parts, the more material and superficial parts of heart territory. Gently set the knees down. Let's take a rest moment. When you stand, find a section of wall that will allow you to take chest opener. And I'll talk us into this Warrior One style of chest opener. So when I take Warrior One, my front leg is closest to the wall. The hand that's closest to the wall, shoulder height, set slightly back. Feel feet dip into that stance. So we still have those wonderful legs working for us. And we start to contract that left quad, straightening out that knee, press out through that leg. And start to feel the breath in that side, the wall side of your chest. And again, how do you feel your breath? Do you feel your breath? Do you feel your chest from the inside? Do you feel your chest from the outside? Not sure. There's a location to our sensing. And that's part of the formation or even the reformation of our self-sense. And just playing with, where do I feel that? Can I feel that from the inside? Can I feel that from the outside of my skin? Do I feel that from deep, deep internally as a sensing that arises and moves and expands out? Do I sense that as something that gets drawn from the horizon? Kind of snowflakes in, fills in? There's not a wrong way. Relax the jaw, the neck, the lips. There you go. The heart and the lips, they're connected. Oh, interesting. And let's break from this side so we can change sides. We'll go directly in. Opening up that hand that's on the wall and feeling in and through the palm, the fingertips. So here's something that I notice over the times and the years. As we're sensing heart, because I'm asking us, in a somewhat focused way to just get a sense of this heart area, without exiting the chest and the heart. Reach out through the legs and the feet, feel the ground. So now you're feeling the heart, the chest, the shoulder, and your legs and the connection you make to the ground. One of the things I notice is so often when there's a focusing moment into the heart, there's this tendency to excise ourselves away from the earth and our legs and the rest of our body. So I'm just asking us to, just as play, to almost flip that. So as I'm feeling the heart, actually extend my feeling through the body, through the legs, in and through the earth. All the way to those active feet. That's part of the active feet, is to help us sense to the periphery of our body, the periphery of our body that contacts the earth. And if you need to close eyes, if you're getting a little bit kind of cognitive or abstract with this, it's really not. It's just a continuity of feeling. So you might want to just try closing your eyes for this final breath or two. Where do you sense? In so many of our indigenous cultures, the sense of heart and abundance and gratitude is absolutely and intimately linked with the land, with the ground, with earth, with the natural living world. So let's release from this side. We're going to stay with wall, so you may need to adjust your mat. And we're moving into, get the words here, dolphin on the wall, one leg reaching away from the wall. So for the visual reminder, here's the dolphin on the wall. And we'll be reaching one leg away from the wall. So we'll get about 5 to 6 breaths per leg. So let's start in dolphin. And on exhale, press your knees off the ground. Your heels will be right up against the wall, or barely touching, but near. And then take deep inhale as you step one foot to the wall, hip height. And with your exhale, step the second foot up. Allow yourself to reestablish your breath as you allow the head to relax. And please know this right here, you're welcome to remain right here. If this feels steadier to you or quite challenging sufficient, this is a good spot. And if you desire to reach one leg away from the wall, go about 5, 6 breaths and then switch on your own terms. There you go. There you go. So you're lifting that leg away from the waist. Exactly. That's it. That's it, Joy. Good. Reaching that left leg away from waist. Oh, pardon me, your right leg, Michelle. There you go. Almost. So lifting the thigh bone away from waist. There you go. It is. So lifting this from here. There it is. There. Yeah, that leg has a lot to do with the waist and the trunk. Sometimes we're discovering these connections. Sometimes we're making these connections. There you go. Yeah, just keep and after we've taken about 5, 6 breaths, we're going to step down, step both feet all the way down. Set the knees down. And we'll come back to our mat. We'll stand at the top of our mat. Chair, inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Feet active, neck relaxed. Monkey, inhale, collar away from lap. And exhale, we'll step the feet back, chaturanga. Let's lower all the way down to the ground, however. Reach back to the legs, set the hands forward. Inhale. Slightly pulling the mid-spine away from the low spine. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. And pressing with those chest muscles, just can you find them? The nice thing about finding those chest muscles is, even if they just kind of flicker on, is it helps us locate, it helps us sense through the front of the heart. Kind of can snowflake in a rich and enriched sense of body. Like many data points contributing to this high fidelity sense of physical body. Many data points kind of flaking in, contributing to this enriched sense of subtle body and currents and motions and emotions and thoughts and beliefs. Gets really wild in that subtle terrain. Warrior 1. Inhale, step the right foot forward. And exhaling, shift that tailbone slightly down. So part of that visioning, that interior visioning of our person, our sense of self, right? Yes, it does contain physical data, like this is where my elbow is, this is where my fingertip is, this is where my pelvis, okay? but it also brings and is carrier, kind of a carrier wave, of all of this subtle terrain. This is what I believe. This is what I feel when I think that. This is what I tend to think when I feel that. It's where we get a lot of clarity on thought, feeling, belief, thought, feeling, belief, thought, feeling, belief. Hands to hips. You can do this one of two ways. Thumb and forefinger atop the hip bone. Or you can make fists so the wrist stays more like straightened, continuous. And you can press the knuckles to the back of the pelvis. You may like one more than the other. Feet active. Inhale as the legs press out and down into the earth. Telescope the ribs away from your knuckles, away from your hands. Exhale, lightly tweeze those elbows one toward the other, so the back muscles turn on a little bit. And when we release, inhale the hands to the ground, exhale chaturanga. Lower all the way down for shoulder shrugs. Set the hands off to the side, just beside the shoulders. And stretch those legs straight back, shifting the tailbone down. Inhale, so legs reach back. The hands, the elbows, the chest lift just a little bit. Exhale, squeeze tops of shoulders. And then the middle. Then I let that up and squeeze the bottom tips. Let's do that again, a couple more times. Inhale, I let up on the squeeze. Keep the chest, keep the hands, elbows up. Exhale, squeeze tops of shoulders, then middle parts of shoulder blades, then bottom tips. Let's do one final round. Inhale, keep the hands up, relinquishing some of that squeeze. And then as you exhale, squeeze tops of shoulders right here, middle parts right about there, bottom tips right in there. Where are you? And release. Inhale, hands under chest. And start to push the ground, curl toes under, so your chest muscles turn on. Ooh, chest muscles. So sometimes I have to tweeze the palms toward each other as I'm pressing back. When you're ready, exhale, downward dog. Hey, there was more chest muscles. That's great. Warrior one, inhale, left foot forward. We're drawing the arms up to begin. Okay. Feet active. Or simply feeling the surface, the contact of the foot and the earth. And again, having heard this from numerous indigenous teachers, foot, earth, foot, earth, foot, earth. Okay. part of the why. Why active foot? Why is all this foot stuff? Foot, earth, right? We don't heal in isolation. We don't grow in isolation. And it's just one very simple way, a tactile reminder way of remembering our connection to the living world of which we're a part. Pressing and feeling those legs like roots reaching for that earth, reaching for that communal nutrient through the soil, through the livingness of one another. And now inhale, kind of buoying the heart, lifting that heart up. And we'll give it a little boost here by bringing the hands to the hips. Oh, all that connection wipes a person out. So hands on hips. And if there was a little withdrawal from the feet, just reinstate. Feet, ground. Right. Inhale. Pressing with the hands. How does that internal sense move, sway, shift, resist, while staying connected to the earth? You may want to set this heel just a little to the right, bothering your back a little bit. Okay. Now shift the hips. We'll see if that helps, that little distance. And tweezing the elbows slightly toward each other. Go ahead and just press right into me. Good. Inhale, lift with your breath. Press with your hands. There you go. Release. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. At this point, you can lower in preparation for upward dog, or you can lower entirely to the ground. Inhale, upward dog or cobra, if your belly's on the earth. Exhale, downward dog. Using a strap, perhaps, archer warrior. Inhale, right foot forward. We'll take warrior one. I'm going to use a strap. Some like it, some don't need it. Right elbow point up, left elbow point down. Now, if your stance feels a little bit, kind of buggers the neck, the back a little bit, you may need to adjust your feet a little bit. So the stance is here to help us feel our legs, to get more intimately connected with the ground. So feet active, bend that right knee. Inhale, grow the abdomen away from the pelvis. We keep sinking into that stance by reaching out through the legs, softening through the knee, pressing. Feeling through the ankle into the foot. Inhaling into the upper back. And because it's so common, it's worth mentioning. It's so common as we breathe higher up into the body. It's almost like we're pulling our roots right out of the ground energetically. And sometimes even physically, you'll feel the pose actually elevate. So soften the knee, come back into the stance, feel the feet, feel the earth. Let those toes wriggle a little bit. Active foot is about ungrasping. Now, can you breathe into the upper back without lifting away from the earth? Here you go. Oh, that's fun and new and interesting. You really kind of stretch those roots in different ways. And if you need to close your eyes, close your eyes. Just know where you're sensing in your body. Because often as we're sensing with this internal vision, this felt sense vision, these more diaphanous things like images, memories, little wafts of emotionality can start to suffuse the experience, and that's all right. Releasing hands. Okay, please let's pad the knee as we set the left knee down. Lunge. And connecting to breath. Okay, I'm just going to post my right hand on the right thigh as the left hand reaches for that left foot. Now, when the hand reaches, again, these are just kind of statistical commonalities. Is when our hand reaches away from our core. Sometimes our attention goes away from our core. Just note where you're feeling, where you're sensing is occurring in your person. I sense the inside of my lunge, hip. Am I sensing peripherally, like kind of near the pelvis? This is some of that formative stuff as infants. We're just kind of balls of sensing. We actually don't really yet have an inside or an outside as far as we know. There's just this jello-y sensing all over the place. And it starts to form. Something starts to form. Okay, I'm going to release that. Lounge, lunge. So set that left foot down and the left hand down. Right arm holds the right thigh. Inhale. Turn chest right. Reach leg back. Sink left side down. Just a layer by layer process of letting go through that left side. When you're feeling the left side, if you're feeling the left side of body, just if, you connect to your breath. Did sensing become a thin, papery layer, or did sensing become this rich, lush, kind of internal sense? I find those areas where sensing grows thin or absent, or there's little gaps, I find those to be really fascinating areas. Like a little cluster of material. Okay, inhale, we'll come back around centrally. Now, if you have a lot of padding under the left knee, you might want to remove it as we set up pigeon. Walking the right foot over, lying the shin down. If there's reluctance to sense, sometimes we'll catch that as a change of breath. We may feel the breath grow thin or drop out altogether, or we might hold it. So the ways that we inhabit our body, the ways we resist or have neglected inhabiting our body. It leaves tracks. And breath and sensing. We can learn through those. So let's just play a little bit in this pigeon, just a few more breaths. How much of your breath kind of flakes in and contacts the interior of your pelvis, your hip? You feel sensing inside the hip or circumferentially, or in close proximity to the hip? There we go. There's deep intelligence. There you go. And inhale, let's walk the hands back under the shoulders. Exhale, go smoothly as we press back, downward dog. Good. Allow the neck to soften, and then deep breath following relaxed neck is a different creature. So just give it a moment so that we can, in fact, sense relaxed neck and deep breath with relaxed neck. I'm actually inhabiting this very supple neck as I'm feeling a deep breath. Where? Where do I feel that deep breath? There you go. For some of you, it's the upper back, I see. For some of you, it's the mid-back. All right. So let's do that archer and warrior other side. Inhale the left foot forward. Should you like to use a strap, the left hand can lower it down to the right. Good. And we're in a stance. We love these stances. So again, these connections aren't formed apart from the rest of the living community. How we make connections in here, right, is reflective and expressive of how we make those connections, how we nourish those connections with the living community, with the land, others. So if you want to know exactly what kind of relationships you have in the world around you, we can feel what we're doing in our body, and we'll know right away, oh, that's how I am with all my relations. Go ahead and bend that knee. Yeah. So just let those toe pads just be free. Foot contacts the earth. And what's really neat is you can play in your own body. What would a different quality of connection be like? What would a resilient connection be like? What would a connection that easily reaches out? What would that feel like? How would I nourish that? So as we embody it, as we actually try it on in our own cells and structure and energy, we'll know if it's right. There you go. Deep breath. Yeah. It'll feel, do I do strained connections where I'm holding on for dear life connections? We'll feel that. Do I make connections that are kind of a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, a little there, a little scattered? We'll feel that. Yeah. When we release that archer, there's a lunge here for us. We'll set that right knee down. Patting, please. We'll draw the arms up. Okay, we just want to set us up for this next little move. So connect to breath, noting where in your interior you feel breath. There's not a wrong place. You don't have to focus anywhere unless you want to. And then just remain in feeling as this right hand reaches back for the right foot. To actually stay in our body, even though that hand is reaching for something. Are you near the lunge, in the lunge, outside of the lunge? Are you in your trunk? Near the trunk? Deeply inside the trunk? Where do we reside at any given moment? And these poses are just frameworks for us to try on, almost like new glasses. Like, oh, that's where I am. Oh, archer, that's where I am. That's where I find myself. Right? Lounge, lunge. We'll set that right foot down. We'll set the right hand down. And the left arm hugs onto this thigh. Inhale, turning. Exhaling, right side may soften. And that deep, lush breath will help keep us anchored in our body, in our felt sense of our arrival. Thinking is wonderful, concepts are great, but the body offers a different kind of knowing. And breath is an exquisite way to access that bodily intelligence. Here's Pigeon. We'll set the hands down, walk the left foot across the mat. We'll lie the shin down. And you're welcome to work Pigeon from hands or from forearms. We feel our breath in our pelvis tentatively, acceptingly. And it's so fun when we really get that we're always expressing and reflecting our relations. We realize I can't hide anything. I can't hide a thing. To the right eyes, to the trained eyes, everything is visible. Inhale the hands under the shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. It's a very empowering, very frightening notion. I can't hide anything? Nope. No. All right. When you set your knees down, have a seat. You get a rest. I want to show you two options for where to play today. One is, I'm going to call it mini scorpion, half lotus scorpion. Mini, just because I'm going to bridge the amount of back bend. I'm going to make a very, instead of trying to make my body a C shape, I'll just be more like a crescent, like a thumbnail shape. I'll show you that in a moment. And the other option is balancing on your hands, lotus on the ground, or tolasana. So let me show you those both, because each one will ask of us half lotus and being on our hands. So that's the commonality here. So tolasana, if you decide, you can go lotus or half lotus, hands beside hips, and I'm pressing and breathing. I'm just saying it ahead of time. Okay, this is a two-sided pose, so just know once you get about 5 to 8 breaths on one side, kind of release and do the other side. Let's say I'm only doing half lotus. Great. Same gig. I'm also pulling my thighs, maybe my foot toward my chest. Okay? So that's option one. And let me show you this other option. Again, I'm going to take a very shallow or bridged amount of back bend. So I'm not getting too back bendy. If I'm kicking up, let's say I start, 2.5 feet from the wall, perhaps. Essentially kicking up handstand. There's my half lotus. And then I can always walk this foot down the wall a little bit. This also is a two-sided pose. Whoops. Exit carefully. So you'll have to be able to kick up with the other side or switch the sides. Those are our options. Let us if you need me to go over anything again, or you want me to see something that you're doing, just make some visual noise with a waving hand. Yeah. Common areas to check: hands shoulder width. Many people try to go wider or put their hands way too far behind them or in front of them. Under the shoulders, shoulder width. There you go. Looks like a good distance. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, just keeping one, exactly. And now that left foot, you reach that thigh bone. To kind of, yep, so you can push that wall. Yep. So getting that tailbone to move away from the head. And just making sure you do both sides. So if you've already done one side, just, there you go. There it is. Just make sure you're getting ready to adjust. There you go. Reach up to the right thigh. There it is. Yeah, reach out to the left thigh. That's it. And with this particular one, Joy, I do lift my eyes a little bit between the thumbs, just so I start to arch the chest a little bit. With Scorpion, we can use the eyes a little. Use that right foot on the wall. It'll give that back lots of support. Reach up to the thighs. Thigh bones up. There you go. Keep reaching to the thighs. The thighs, the thighs. Yes, yes, yeah. Oh, good. You're getting those buttock muscles working. Just making sure when you need to exit, you kind of unwind your lotus legs before stepping down out of your handstand. There you go. All good? Yeah, coming out of a back bend for sure. All right. Lie back and do a little back release. By crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. Grabbing the left leg. And we'll switch sides. Crossing left ankle over right. Letting each breath comfort, soothe. Sometimes I let the leg actually pull on the hands and the wrists a little bit, tractioning out the wrists. And when you're ready for Shavasana, let's do that. Let's set the feet down. Now feeling your breath occurring in this interior space of the body. And these few inches all around the skin. So you're feeling the breath around your skin and the breath inside your skin. The exact same stuff. It's the exact same. That this sense of our self is really a malleable thing. And when you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. And press to seated. Namaste. Have a great weekend. Or have an average one. Up to you.